This is a channeled message for someone on this small corner of the internet. I was about to go to bed, and then, well, I suppose it's not time yet. I feel like there is something sitting right behind my eyes, just waiting to come out. So we're gonna give that a go. It's obviously very dark in here, so this might be a better video just to listen to. Maybe just zone out of the screen. But just take a breath in. Take a moment to center yourself. Maybe close your eyes. Tune into the sounds around you. Observe different kinds of noises that you can hear. If there are many, if there are few, if they're agitating, if they're gentle, if you only notice them now that you're paying attention. Notice the quality of the sounds in the space around you. Tune into the sound that is loudest. And then to the sound that is the quietest. Notice what sound is the furthest away from you. And the closest. Feel into the depth of the space that surrounds you, and find your center within your body that anchors you, that connects you to the space around you. Feel that space within your body and feel it, perhaps see it in your third eye. Connect up or in whichever direction to your ears and out. Feel the connection between your inner and your outer worlds simultaneously. And breathe into it. gently come back to the space you are in. If your eyes are closed, you can let them flutter open when you feel ready. You might have been doing a lot of breath work, a lot of meditation recently. You might have been finding ways to connect further into yourself. Definitely getting the feeling of balancing of two worlds, whether this is your inner and your outer world, whether it's the different versions of yourself that you've created. It's about finding balance in a way that respects both of those sides, so that neither is overtaking the other. I am going to draw some tarot cards to guide this message. And if this reading is for you, you will know. You will feel it. Nothing needs to be forced. If you want to listen, then listen. And if it's too overwhelming, it's okay to step aside. I'm realizing as I shuffle these cards that it is dark in here and I do not have my glasses on. So I'm not really gonna be able to see these cards until I at least put on my glasses. That's better. Sometimes when it's dark and I have my glasses off, I forget that I can't see for a large amount because I'm not wearing my glasses. I think something in my brain thinks, well, yeah, it's dark. You can't see that well in the dark. But no, I do see better with my glasses. And perhaps there's something to that. Perhaps, like, you know that when you are in a certain routine, when you're caring for your body in a certain way, that you can see so clearly, even through the dark, even through the hard times. But when you start slipping back into old routines, especially when something's uprooted you, and you revert back to these old ways, and you kind of lose touch with these routines, these new ways of connecting with yourself and grounding that you've created. You forget just how helpful those are. Or like you know it, but you don't really, like, you just forget how much clearer everything is when you're taking care of your body, when you're listening to those needs. So you might be working right now on finding your center again. Maybe something happened that shook you, rattled you. Lifted you from your roots. But it's different than times in the past where perhaps you really leaned heavily into old coping mechanisms, or really leaned into just this place of a very activated nervous system where you were making choices that just one after another were leading you further and further away from your center. And there's something about now that you're catching yourself. You might feel like that part of you surfacing, trying to drive the ship, trying to have control. But it's different this time because you're seeing them, you're watching them as they come through in your thoughts, but they're not quite making it to your actions. And perhaps, like, on some level, yes, like, your actions aren't quite what they would be when you do feel deeply aligned, but it's a lot easier for you to just be a witness to that. You're not so judgmental or hard on that version of you that is coming through right now. And I think that helps to keeping them from being extra rattled, keyed up. And it makes it easier for you to kind of pull back. And so slowly you're remembering the things you do to ground yourself, to reconnect with yourself. And the cool thing about what's been going on with you lately is that every time you get knocked off center and then you remember who the fuck you are and you realign, like, you come back so much closer to center than you even were when you first got uprooted. Like, you're going through massive shifting transformation. And it's so scary and it's so intense. But it's also cool as fuck. Like, it's so magical. It's so magical. And to be fair, it is still hard to see in the darkness. But you find where the light's coming from. And you hold up what you're trying to see to it. And you find that clarity. Yeah. The wheel. Right. This deck is a really eerie deck. This card's, like, honestly creepy. It just shows this figure top of this like upturned wheel, and it's like disfigured, kind of caught in it. And then there's this massive skeleton in the background walking away with another wheel. I need to sit with this card. This is freaky. And it looks like maybe there's something lying on top of this guy. I really can't even make it out. Yeah, maybe with like all these transformations, it's like you're having a moment of being like, who even am I? I can't even tell this anymore. But also, it's like there are parts of you that are like exiting, but not like they're being abandoned or they're abandoning you. Like they're exiting, like they're going off to play. They've served their roles, and they don't need to be the one driving the ship anymore, and they're going off to brighter pastures. The vibe of this that I'm getting, at least right now, is like this skeleton in the back pushing a wheel. It's almost like the vibe of like, haha, still your wheel, I'm running away with it now. Like I don't know, I'm getting a silly goofy vibe, even though this is like deeply unsettling to look at. And yeah, maybe when you're going through this hard stuff, this unsettling, uncomfortable stuff, there is still something youthful inside of you that is still at play, and that's your anchor. Oh, yes. All right, I'm taking a moment now to break the fourth wall. Is that even what that is? Me to you, being straight up. I'm new to these readings, and I'm newer to channeling. And it's interesting when sometimes I can feel it just pouring through me, and other times I just feel it all of a sudden just go quiet. And anxiety pops up. And then that makes it harder for me to hear the message. But talking out loud here, sometimes I think, one, that is the message. Figure that one out. And two, is a way of the body communicating. And I think I'm just going to be okay with there being spaces of silence. I've definitely watched like channeled messages on YouTube plenty of times, and people come it's so cool watching how much they can just pour out this insanely, scarily accurate message. But I think I also like the quiet times that come from new readers, for myself specifically, as I take time to try to familiarize myself with the cards that I'm not yet super familiar with. Because some cards I know better than others. But I think that time gives you, the viewer, the opportunity to just process the message thus far, or go off into your daydreams, or just have moments of quiet. And oh yeah, that's the message. That's the message that's been coming through for me a lot, is to just create those spaces of just nothingness, of just doing nothing. You ever seen that episode of SpongeBob with the magic conch? I keep telling them to do nothing. If you know, you know. But creating these gaps of quiet where you can just be. You're not meditating, you're not channeling, you're not problem solving, you're not doing a task, you just being. And yeah, maybe your mind will latch onto something, maybe it will start ruminating, maybe it will start trying to problem solve. That's okay. I'm not even trying to control it, just sitting there. I always think about, like a glass of muddied water that's been heavily agitated and all the specks of dirt are just flying around, but the longer it sits, the more the dirt will float or sink to the bottom, and then you can see the clear liquid above it. And I think sometimes when you just take moments to just sit and be quiet and not be on your phone, not try to feel the discomfort, but just let the discomfort happen, it will eventually pass, and often a lot faster than it feels like it will in the moment of discomfort. The Four of Wands comes through, and it's a very joyful card. It's about celebration and festivities and the magic of being with your friends and with others and with community. And I think the message is that you're going through a lot of transformations happening. And that can kind of rattle your relationships too at times, especially as you're feeling that detachment from yourself. But sometimes it's going back to the people around you, or even just going out in public spaces and just being around people and being in the energy of celebrating or joy, or just being, just witnessing life, is what brings you back to you, just seeing all the different forms of life. And your friends and your community and whoever you're around, just seeing and not judging who they are and all the different people and what makes them them. And then turning that gaze inwards and seeing what makes you, you. You might not have all the answers right now. And that's okay. Because they'll come to you when it's time. When you sit still and you listen to your body and you just let yourself be and you don't try to figure it out, that's when they'll come. And the abundance is on its way. You just gotta wait for it to roll in. You really that's all there is to it, is as you come back to yourself. Just remembering your magic and all that you are and all that you've created thus far. And enjoying the beautiful mess that is life. It's not a bad life. You're not doing bad. You're not doing the wrong thing just because it's messy. Make a mess. Make a mess and have fun. And fail over and over again. And then get back up and see what happens. Okay, last message. I'm gonna read a thing that I wrote. In the dying light of my book reader, my book light thingy, yeah. It's a poem I wrote the other day. It's called Unbalanced. I step into my power, then trip, stumble, fall. Books scattered all around me, once piled high upon my head. Stories from my old life, unbalanced in my new. Silly little dance, silly little scramble, to stack them high again. But they will fall and keep falling. I can't hold on to these stories and my power, so I let go and find balance. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. You have transformed on this whole other level. And you're like, sweet, let's go into this life. And you try to walk in with all these old stories piled high on top of you. And they just don't fit. They just don't fit. And you need to let them go. You need to put them down. You can't hold on to them. You can't carry their weight with you into this new life. And it's hard because you think that those are you, but they're not you. You are the one carrying them, but they are not you. And so to release them feels like releasing yourself, but that's not it. You can set them down, and they can be there and you can still know them, but you don't need to carry them anymore. And if you keep trying to, they're just gonna keep getting knocked down and sending you off balance. And that's okay too. It is okay to step into this new power and then trip, stumble, fall. Because it's hard. You're learning how to walk, you're learning how to do this. do it and do it wrong. Do it messy. Do it where you fall and you fail and you get hurt. Because honestly, that's like my favorite way to learn. It's just so effective. And okay, all right, whatever. This card did keep coming up while I was shuffling through, and I did keep ignoring it. But it's the Lovers. And yeah. And hey, great question as to why we feel the urge to reject the Lovers. But yeah, you're in a time of union, and perhaps with others. But that's not what this reading's going to be right now. You're in union with yourself. You're coming back to yourself. You're coming back to a version of yourself that has had to be hidden away for a very long time. And you're giving them the love that they deserve. And you are becoming whole. All right. Is that the message? That's the message.